Hey guys, what's going on? This is Dr. Matt Wenning at winningstrength.com. And today's video is titled, Do This Every Workout to Build Strength Faster. Now, before we get into this topic, I want to make sure that you guys know that we have a huge Black Friday sale going on starting Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, and we're going to run it for about a week. This is going to be discounts on equipment that we hardly ever do, just to boost sales for the last part of the year. So 10% off on equipment, and then the belt squat and the Good Morning machine, which are very expensive pieces of machinery, are going to be $500 off for a very short period of time. The manuals are also going to have different discount codes, some of which the highest tiers are going to be on Patreon, and there'll be other tiers of different percentages off for different levels of memberships and or if you just want to buy manuals. But enough of that. Let's get to the topic. So what should you do every workout to make sure that you're building strength? And I think the first thing that we have to understand is, are you testing strength or are you building it? And they're two completely different things. So what you find is a lot of people will go in and max, say every week on a particular lift, every week. And they'll realize that maybe after 1 week or 2 weeks, maybe even 3, that they don't get any better. And the reason is because you're testing instead of building. So the one big thing and the one big factor that I would say is huge is make sure that your workouts are most of the time building up your strength and not only just testing your strength. So that's number one. Number two, make sure that you don't have any more than about 6 exercises per workout. 6 exercises per workout is what the top level lifters have done for many, many years. And there's a reason. You can't train what you can't recover from. And so although it's awesome to want to fit 8, 10, 12 or more exercises, keeping you in the gym for over an hour, it's a huge issue because your body is going to be confused on what to progress. You can only get better at certain things in each workout. You can't combine a lot of different factors into a workout and expect the body to understand what you're trying to do. So if you're trying to get stronger, then you need to have max effort work. If you're trying to get quicker and increase rate of force, you need the dynamic effort method. If you're trying to put on muscle mass, ligament tendon hypertrophy, then you're going to want to use the repetition method. But it doesn't necessarily mean that all of those methods can be done in the same workout. So highly recommend that you only select 6 exercises, and it will help to combat that problem. The next one that ties very big into the 6 exercises is keep your workouts under an hour. So a lot of data has been collected of the last 75, 80 years of structured training. And the reason that the Russians and the Bulgarians kept their training sessions under an hour is because they realized that the catabolic effects of going over that time period were not going to make you any better. So what they did with their ultra elite is they would train multiple times a day. But it still comes back to the simple fact that if you're going to train, you need to have your workouts under an hour. For us personally, I don't train multiple times in a day. But what I do is keep my workouts under 50 minutes, and I try to keep my workout density up as high as I can. This keeps my rest periods low, my work capacity high, and keeps me focused throughout the entire workout with minimal rest. So follow the directions of staying under an hour and watch your body get stronger way faster. The next thing that we need to understand is you need to train different speeds and tempos. So if we just got done straining very, very hard on a 1, 2, 3, upwards of a 5 rep max squat, it doesn't necessarily make sense to move our accessory work any slower than that. So what we would do is we would maybe not train, say, leg curls with a 3-3 tempo because we've just strained under a long period of time. We would just do a natural tempo of like a 1-1. Sometimes your training needs to be changing the contraction types as much as the exercises. We can flip this coin as well, and we can talk about the dynamic effort method. So for a lot of times in our workouts, when we do speed work for the bench or speed work for squats or deadlifts, a lot of times our accessory work is slowed down, anywhere from a 2-2 tempo, 2 seconds up, 2 seconds down, to a 3-3 tempo, 3 seconds up, 3 seconds down. This changes the scope of the exercise dramatically by changing the speed of the lift. So there's an old video or not an old video, but it's a very recent video that I did in the past that was busting the balls of Mike Israetel, talking about how speed training is not important. And we know that that's false based on the video that I'd done prior. But it doesn't mean that what he's saying isn't valuable. There are benefits to doing things at a slower rate, i.e. 2-2 or 3-3 tempos, because it reduces stretch reflex, therefore causes the muscle tissue to have to work harder. So if we really explode through a lift, we're teaching the body to be more powerful, but we're doing it at the expense of trading off muscle contraction for soft tissue or passive tissue kinetic energy storage. So this means that if we do things slower for accessory work on dynamic effort day, we're getting a contrasting method, meaning that we're training the muscle group in various ways. The next thing that I think we need to focus on is focus on your weak points. We slam on this all of the time, and many of the weak points that we see with a lot of the clients at the gym and the contracts that I'm at, i.e. 300 firemen per week, what we start to see is that some people share very similar weak points. These are hamstrings, upper back, right? Rotator cuff, glutes, hamstrings. A lot of these muscle groups really play an important part in your body's ability to get better. And if you're not putting the emphasis on the weakest link, you're having a very big problem with your training. It will eventually either do two things. One, it will stagnate your strength progress, or two, you'll get an injury. I like to use this old statement that makes a lot of sense to me. If I have this big, strong tow truck, and I have this chain that I can get people out of by hooking the chain onto their car to pull them out of a ditch, and I pull up to the particular scenario of the car in the ditch, and I'm in my big, strong truck, and I have this massive chain, and the first link can hold 20,000 pounds. Far exceeding the need of what the chain needs to be strong enough to pull the car out of the ditch. The end link hooked onto the car holds 20,000 pounds as well. But the middle link of that entire chain only holds 3,500 pounds. So when I go to pull on that chain to get that car out, the middle link is going to snap, which is going to completely reduce or negate how strong the first and the last links are, because the weak link was the biggest problem in the chain. So think of your training in this aspect. Most people do not have weak quadriceps. They have weak hamstrings. Most people do not have weak pecs and front delts. They have weak back muscles and poor coordination with the rotator cuff. This means that if we train in these areas, we can actually make progress faster. So if you need any help with this, hop on either wenningstrength.com and come to online coaching. Or if you have a budget issue, come on to Top Tier Patreon, or at the very least, get on Train Heroic and follow our workouts there, where we have detailed videos on how to do things and how to also structure all of what we just talked about into the workouts without having you spend your own personal time trying to figure it out. So this is Dr. Matt Wenning at wenningstrength.com. I hope this video really helps your training in the future, and contact us if you need any help. Thank you.